The phone rang at midnight, a sound sharp enough to cut through the iron silence of the black site. The guard slid the handset into my hand, eyes flat, uninterested. It was my lawyer. His voice trembled. "He's at your house, your former commander. He did something to your daughter. I can't." Silence on the line. No detail, just ruin. My breath didn't change. My pulse didn't betray me. I learned long ago how to bury shock before it surfaced. But beneath the stillness, a fracture tore through my chest. That night, the warden came. His shadow stretched against the steel wall. He unlocked the door, tossed me a coat. "The general owes me a favor," he muttered. "You've got 24 hours. Don't leave witnesses." The door shut behind me. The war I thought I left overseas had just followed me home. The night air tasted wrong, like iron and rust. I kept walking, each step measured. My mind kept circling back to him, my commander, the man who once shook my hand, who once pinned the insignia on my chest, the man who framed me, chained me, buried me in this hole. And now he had crossed the last line. Betrayal was expected in war, orders twisted, missions sacrificed. But this was wrought at the core. This was personal. I pictured my daughter's eyes, clear, trusting. Then I pictured his hands on her, his lies dripping into her ears like poison. For a moment, I almost faltered, almost broke into rage, into madness. But I pulled it back. Rage was sloppy. Rage left trails. I couldn't afford trails. So I rehearsed it silently, the plan, every step, every exit, every alibi. Cold, methodical. Because when betrayal runs this deep, revenge cannot scream. It has to whisper. The city didn't feel like mine anymore. I moved through it like a ghost, sliding in shadows, ears tuned to every whisper. First step, confirmation. I had to know exactly what he did. Not rumors, not suspicion, facts. I broke into his car parked neatly by my home. His arrogance, his confidence. Inside the glove box, papers, receipts, hotel rooms booked in my city, under a false name, overlapping with the days I was locked away. I folded them, slid them into my coat. Then, her phone, my daughter's, left on the table. She was unconscious in the hospital bed, pale, fragile, a breathing reminder of what he took. I scrolled. Messages. His number masked, but not well enough. A thread of manipulation, promises, control. The language of a predator. The evidence stacked itself, piece by piece, into a cage around his throat. Still, I waited. Patience is the sharpest weapon. He was already bleeding inside. I just needed to make him realize it. I followed him for hours, from bars to quiet streets. He laughed with strangers, a man without shame. My presence was silent, my shadow stitched to his. The time would come, not yet. The suspense wasn't for him, it was for me. The DNA test arrived in a plain envelope. The sample I had lifted from a strand of hair in his car. The lab I still had connections to owed me silence. I opened it alone. The truth spread across the page in cold black ink. He wasn't just touching what was mine. He had tried to replace me. My daughter carried blood that wasn't meant to exist. A grotesque blend of betrayal and stolen trust. I walked into the dining room where he sat, bold enough to drink wine in my chair. He smiled when he saw me, the smile of a man who thought he won. I slid the envelope across the table. No words, no fury, just paper. He read. His face cracked. The mask fell, piece by piece. He tried to speak, an explanation, a plea, but the words tangled. I stayed silent. Composure was the cruelty. He reached for me. I stepped back. Distance was the punishment. "I raised her," I said finally, voice flat, stripped of warmth. "Not you. Never you. I left the papers on the table, left him staring at the collapse of his fantasy, left him with the knowledge that every move he made, I had unraveled. I didn't strike him. I didn't need to. His own reflection would do the damage. His legacy burned the moment I walked out that door, carrying the truth like a knife still buried in his chest. That was enough. More than enough. I returned to the hospital, sat beside her. She stirred faintly, unaware of the storm I had drowned for her. I didn't touch her hand. I didn't speak. Silence was safer. There was no victory, not the kind anyone celebrates, only clarity. He was broken now. His face would never escape the ruin I carved into him with nothing more than truth. I looked at her, my daughter, still mine, because he would never have her, not really. When I walked out of that hospital, I wasn't a soldier anymore. I wasn't a father, not in the way I once was. I was something else, colder, sharper, unbreakable. And he would remember that every day he breathed. The war didn't end, it just changed battlefields, and this time I chose the weapons.